Pangthem Krishna Kumari. Aina takcha gadoriba class 3 and 4 gi English subject. Hello children, hope you all are doing fit and fine at your homes. Today we are going to learn a new lesson for class 4 and it is lesson number 8 and it is a poem. The name of the poem is Wise, which is written by the poet Alan Fisher. Okay. Before the lesson, children, I would like to ask you something. So tell me, who is the creator of the world? Creator means the maker. Okay. Who is the maker of this beautiful world? Yes, God is the creator of the world. He made all the living and non-living things in this world. So, children, don't you think that God is wise and very creative? Yes, very much. And He has created all the beautiful things we see around us. And in today's poem, Wise, it is all about the wisdom of our Creator. Who is the Creator? Yes, God, who has made all these things in the world. Okay. So children, the name of the poem Wise means one who has some wisdom. Okay. So let's read the poem. Whoever planned the world was wise to think of land and sea and skies, to plan a sun and moon that could be made to run the way they should. But how did He have the time for all the things that we see that are so small, like flowers in parks and flakes of snow and little sparks the fireflies show? So here goes the poem. So the poem has 4 stanzas and each stanza has 4 lines. So let me explain you the first stanza. Now let's look at the first stanza of the poem. Whoever planned the world was wise to think of land and sea and skies. In this stanza, the poet said that the one who made the world was wise. So, who made the world? Yes, God made the world. And He thought of land, sea and skies. So, He thought of different things in the world and created them. So, here in this stanza, the poet is describing about our Creator God who made those different things like land, sea and skies. You got it, children? So, let's see the next stanza. To plan a sun and moon that could be made to run the way they should. So, in the second stanza, the poet further said that God had planned the sun and the moon. Yes, God had already created the sun and the moon and He made them to run the way they should. That means the way they should run means that is to perform one's activity on time. You got it? So, God had created sun and moon so that we can do our activity on time. You got it? So, let's see the next stanza. But how did He have time for all the things we see that are so small? So, very interesting line. In this stanza, the poet asks that how did He have time for all the small things we see in the world? Because God had created sun, moon, land, sea, skies, and now the poet asks how did He have time for all the small things we see in the world? That means God had created both what? Big and small things. Now Let's see in the last stanza, that means the fourth stanza. What are the small things? Like flowers in parks and flakes of snow, and little sparks the fireflies show. So, in this stanza, the poet further said about the small things like flowers which are blooming in the parks and gardens, etc. And the flakes of snow, that means thin pieces of snow which are very small. And then again, the poet asked how he made the fireflies which have little sparks that glow at night. So, the poet was very much excited to ask how did God have time to create all these small things on the earth. So children, in this particular poem, we have learned that how God, the creator of the world, had planned all these things on the earth. You got it? And the poet thought that God is wiser, or God is wise to think of all these different things on earth, and he had created all of them for us. So, we have completed the explanation of the poem. Now, let's see some new words and their meanings from the poem. First word, wise. That means wisdom. In the poem, the poet had already said about God who was very wise. Okay. Second word, flake. A small thin light pieces of snow. That means flakes of snow. Third word, sparks. Fiery particles thrown out of what? Fire. And fourth word, fireflies. A type of flying insects that glows in the dark. So in Manipuri, akoina tandan kaina haibaduni ko fireflies haibase. So children, as the poet had already described that God, our creator, is very wise. Let me ask you some questions from the poem itself. Okay? Done? So, please tell me, who is the creator of the world? Yes, God. God is the creator of the world. And next question. Name the two heavenly bodies which is mentioned in the poem. What? What were the two heavenly bodies mentioned in the poem? Yes, the sun and the moon. And the last question. What are the three components of the world? Yes, what are the three components? That means the things which made the earth. So, the answer is land, sea and sky. Very good. So, children, it's now time for activity. In today's activity, you have to make sentences from the words which I am going to give you from the poem itself. So, please listen carefully. The words are, first word, world. Second word, planned. Third word, way. Fourth word, show. And the fifth word, wise. So, let me do one word as an example. Okay. So, let's take the word wise. So, the sentence is, Chauba is a wise man. Okay, you got it? So, you just try to make sentences of your own for the remaining words. So, children, we are now at the end of this lesson. That means lesson number 8, the poem Wise. So, let's meet you on the next class with a new lesson.